Good evening. I call the August meeting of Convention and Visitors Bureau to order. We have a quorum. We have everyone actually present other than the mayor, but you thought he was coming.
Yes, according to the phone conversation, I believe he was going to be here, but I should have misunderstood that.
Do we have anyone that has public comments that does not attain to an agenda item signed up?
I believe everybody is, there we go, agenda items, so. Good evening. Hey, Steve.
Yeah, I normally do too. I'm sorry. We'll fix that right now. Okay, public comments. Approval of the minutes from the July 16th meeting. Any corrections or anything we missed? Do I have a motion to accept the minutes?
So move.
I second it.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Justin, you're up. Do you want to give us a financial status, or do you want to do it after we're done with our presentations?
I'll just run over it real quick.
Okay.
We can jump into the
Okay.
just really quickly, the projected revenue for the rest of the year, if everything, the third and fourth quarters are the same as last year, we should still end up with about an 18% increase for the hotel motel tax revenue over previous year. So unless things just crater.
So when you mean year end, are we talking September 30th or December 31st?
September 30th.
Okay.
Yes. So, yeah, city calendar.
Yeah, city calendar. Okay.
Yeah. That we've pretty much spent the money for this fiscal year. The only things that, other than like little piddly stuff for this fiscal year, I've talked with the Travel OK folks about the American Bus Association like membership dues or something we haven't done in terms of like, as far as I can remember. But it sounds like that's something that might be worthwhile.
We did it quite a couple of years ago.
A couple of years ago,
Yeah.
okay. But that would, there's a number of benefits to that, including being able to go, if you wanted to go to their national tour bus convention where you talk tour buses into coming to your town. That's one of the things that's available if we do that.
What is that membership fee?
It's $850 for the year.
That's that bottom line one, and then they have different levels? Or?
As far as I know, like the membership due for like a tourist like destination is just the $850. There's some other things you can get into, but that's just the membership due. I'm trying to make our current run of brochures kind of maybe stretch to the end of the fiscal year. It may not be possible, but we're trying to make it that we don't have to buy more. I think we might have to buy a smaller run of them, maybe. If we have the money left in this fiscal year, it'd be nice to have a little bit of a redesign done to the brochure. It's been the same now for a little while, so even if it's just a matter of small shifts, just to make it look like something a little bit fresh.
I think we talked about that about 6 months ago.
Yeah. So other than that, there's not a whole lot left in this fiscal year. So, any questions about? Sorry, I'm ignoring.
No,
this side.
you're good.
Any questions about stuff for?
And you can always carry it over.
Correct.
There's no pressure that you got to spend by the end of September. There's carryover options if you want.
Do you have an anticipated what will be left over at this rate, or is it all going to be gone?
in terms of what we budgeted for this year, I think we're going to be pretty close to have spent all of it for the year, what we had budgeted. That obviously that doesn't include, the revenue that's up over and above what we had planned from the beginning of the year. That's all I've got.
Okay. Any questions? Any other questions?
So you got 4,400 left in your budget, right? Actually, you've got about 7 grand.
Yeah, I've been talking to Kim about a couple things that I thought that appeared to be encumbered, but may not have actually been encumbered, so it might be a little bit less than that.
But you got a little bit.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah,
for
that's
sure.
all. That's all I wanted to make sure.
Any other questions? Okay. Okay, so the rest of, pretty much the night is going to be discussion on funds. But for Tommy, we cannot vote on anything tonight because we cannot approve fiscal year 19 and fiscal year 18. But this is the month we allow presentations by outside groups. So we are still going to allow them the presentations, take everything under advisement. When we get the budget in the new fiscal year, we will come back in October and vote. But we cannot approve stuff for the new fiscal year in the old fiscal year, okay? And yes?
Talking with Leroy about that, the discussion was if the board wanted to vote to, since this is, like you said, fiscal year 18, you can still vote to, if the board wants to vote to, you're not approving funding, but you're voting to recommend that this is a worthwhile, whatever the word might be.
Well, the problem is it doesn't go to, with your budget, it stays right here in this room, right?
Right.
No.
Wouldn't have to go to council unless there was a conflict within this room, then it would go to council.
Right.
Yeah, so you can't encumber money that's not there.
Right, so you wouldn't vote to encumber money, but if the board wanted to vote saying, this is something that we,
Like, we're gonna do the Christmas walk.
So we can't put an amount on it, is that what you're trying to say?
That was my understanding.
You
We
can't
put
approve
a
the amount.
We can't put a money on.
You don't have a budget for the amount.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, the budget isn't even
Correct.
We haven't been,
So-
it hasn't even finalized for FY19.
So,
Yeah.
okay? But you guys can ask all the questions you want,
I'm gonna step out.
and
Yep.
Come get me when you're done with Christmas.
Okay.
Caitlin,
When Christmas is over.
I think she just.
Christmas and
Christmas people, front and center. I will step out of the way. Whoever's gonna talk.
Chris is going, well, I'm pretty sure Thanksgiving is before Christmas Day.
Yeah, so there's salmon.
You want to just ask me questions that you are interested in?
Saw your seafood.
Sure,
Why don't you give an overview of what-
Why don't you?
yeah, why don't you give us an overview?
Okay, basically what we are asking is we are asking for $5,000 for event support for the Territorial Christmas Foundation for this upcoming year. We're asking that $4,000 go to fund advertising expenses that we have, and it includes television and print advertising. And then the additional $1,000 is going to be used to offset the expenses for the cost of lighting the oak tree on opening night, the lighted Christmas parade on November 24th. And then the lights stay on through January of 2019. So that's the gist of that.
See, I think what Justin was trying to get to is you could probably vote in principle. Is that what you're
Yeah.
talking about?
Yeah, I think so.
Or at least have a meeting of the minds.
High
of-
priority,
Right.
but you can't say it's approved.
Right.
And I think the concern is that the group that's presenting go away
Correct.
with that
Yeah,
understanding.
Absolutely, for sure.
Do you guys, do you have an idea how many people you actually get, or does the weather really play a?
The weather can packed, but different events attract a different number of people. The largest crowds are for the Victorian Walk Nights. However, last year for opening night parade, we were blown away with the number of entries and the attendance. We had an estimate.
Estimated at 6,500 last year.
The last 2 years, it's just really ballooned on opening night. We had to have security last year for the first time.
Close the
Word
streets.
is getting out that, they just had to close the streets, not security as such, but traffic control. We had to take cars off the street, that type of thing, because it had just really grown.
We anticipate it going up to at least 8,000 to 10,000 this year, because every year we have been able to measure it to a certain extent, that it's growing by at least 2,000 people each year. And so, but we've gotten to the point now that we are estimating potentially 10,000, because once it hits a certain number, it starts to get even more exponential, and we don't know how to really measure that yet. I know that there are steps being taken to kind of give us an idea of how much the tax dollars kind of increase during October to November, so that we can, or excuse me, till December, so that we can kind of see how sales tax impacts, but we don't have that information yet.
Well, how much did the city contribute last year, out of curiosity?
That's on.
We got 5,000, and we asked for 5,000 for advertising only.
And I think we split it like TV advertising.
So it's 5,000.
and a portion for printing.
And now they want
Yes.
6.
It was five.
That's 5 again this year. Correct.
So on your
Yeah.
Christmas lights, how many bids are you going for? Is it different vendors or?
We have received one bid at this point, which is a very competitive bid, a very
Competitive.
nice reduction from the firm that has done it for the last 5 years.
I understand that, but then are they gonna provide equal to or better product?
They will do
What will
the
we ask
same, same number of lights, just for a lesser price.
Which is decorating, correct me if I'm wrong, is decorating the large tree and then wrapping the
railing.
and then.
The greenery.
The greenery, yeah.
And the smaller tree to the left of the big tree.
And then I checked, it was $5,000 last year that you guys supported with.
And this is a company that if a string of lights goes bad, they're there to repair that and fix that right away. It's not something that will linger on if there is a problem. They'll be right there on the spot.
They are insured, licensed, and reliable.
But yes, to answer your question, we are bidding it out
Yeah.
to find out if there's any way to do it less expensive and see who's competitive. And if they're, as long as they're equal, reliable, then we'll be able to judge as a committee what is the best way for us to go, to make sure that it lights and doesn't leave 8,000 people waiting.
Do you have other revenue sources other than this, or is, I'm sorry, I'm
The Christmas events depend on, you mean from the grant?
right, or whatever.
Okay.
Other fundraising.
Okay, other fundraisers, yes.
Got them all listed.
Okay, we have, go ahead.
So we have, in the past, what we have done, well, let me just talk about what we're planning on doing this year. We have a fundraising dinner that happens September 15th. That was a thing that we started last year, and it was very profitable for a fundraiser. We have, this year we've done the water sales at the 4th of July. Last year we charged a parade registration fee for individuals who wanted to be in the Light of Christmas Parade. We'll charge a fee this year, so that way we can make some money on that. We do charge a food truck vendor fee for opening night. We are planning on doing a hay bale maze at the 89ers Parade next year. It got rained out last year, or this year. We also get private donations. We have the Homes Tour, and that is a huge money earner for us, is the Historic Homes Tour. We are wanting and planning to extend the Homes Tour this year to 2 days instead of 1 day, since it is our biggest money earner. And then last year we started the junior governor's race, which the junior kids blew away the adults. And we have, I'm
Keep
sorry,
that low.
that sounds,
Keep that
and then this year, the depot we're gonna have a Christmas tree walk. And essentially what that is the different businesses, Kiwanis, Rotary, can enter a Christmas tree for a contest. And as people walk through from opening night, we're gonna have Santa there, and we're gonna do like a photo booth, have your picture taken with Santa, and then people can pay $10 for a digital download of the photograph for their Christmas card that year. And then you also pay to get in at the door, and that way people can come through, and as they go through, they can vote on their favorite Christmas tree, and whatever group wins the Christmas tree contest gets to have a free event the next year at the depot.
So those are additional sources of revenue to help us meet our goals for the spending side. And the missing member of your committee came up with this lovely idea in which we're going to sell spaces on our calendar. This will be on our website and our Facebook page, and businesses or individuals can buy space for their events on the calendar for a price. So it's really a way of getting donations, but also helping other businesses advertise their events during the month of December. So cool.
And these will be available for purchase for businesses and then also like individuals that want to have it. So just anything we can do to
How much
increase
is one?
revenue. She walked away. Did
that's
she tell me they were $10
that's
or
right.
$5?
Do you,
They're either $5 or $10.
you partner with other activities that are going on at the same time, like with the Pollard?
Yes.
In terms of your media coverage?
Yes,
So that
we
it
work with-
reduces the advertising cost? Sorry, Carol.
it doesn't reduce it, it's kind of a trade-off. The
Okay.
Pollard does their advertising, and they mention the Victorian Walk Nights. We make sure the Pollard is on our information also, so that there's their crowds help our crowds help them, so it's a kind of scratch your back, but no actual funds transfer. It's just kind of like for like. But there are no other events that I'm aware of during that period of time.
I didn't know if Byron had something going on.
Doesn't
in
have
his
any
place.
Christmas things.
Nothing special.
There's nothing
Okay.
special.
And I didn't know, last year, we had the temple.
Park?
No, the temple.
Oh, the concert.
Had the concert
Yes.
and the movie.
And we advertise that
Okay,
also.
right.
But there's no funds exchanged
Okay.
in that. We just put it on there because it's something else for people to do in our city, and that's important.
Is that
I
what they
think we
do?
did fly in as well.
The concert, we haven't reached out to the temple to see, but we will be doing that so we can get it on our calendar.
It was packed.
It was packed, and it's a wonderful opportunity for people, and it's the second walk night, so there's not the historical homes tour to blend over, so it's something else for people to do.
So what are the dates for the 2 weekends for the walk?
8th and 15th.
And are you doing the home tours on the 8th and the 15th?
No, just the 8th, but we were thinking of doing
Possibly
doing it
the
on the Sunday, the 9th, just a half day.
Oh,
We
okay.
still have to get the homes lined out, but also get the approval of the owners that are willing to do it for a 2-day period.
Okay.
That's a lot of work.
But speaking as someone who was on the actual home store last year as a home, you work your tail off to get your house ready. You're okay with showing it off 2 days in a row.
Yeah, I would think so.
And that would, we earned $6,400 last year on the tour. And so we're thinking, even if it was a, portion of that, another $2,000 is a lot of money to go towards the lighting of the tree and the other things that we spend money on, more advertising for the city.
To go back to the advertising, what TV basic ads or how you using the TV media?
How are we using it?
Yeah, now which
There's a
channel?
spreadsheet attached. Channel 4 is the one we used last year. Justin has approached me asking if we would mind sitting down with Frontier Country to see what kind of co-op deal might be available. We are always willing to listen to that. We don't find that the one channel deal was that they would be on some odd channel. Well, people that are watching the news are watching the main channels, so you need to be where they are.
Yeah.
for whatever the advertising. And we heard lots of positive feedback about our advertising last year. So we are going to do that again this year.
It wasn't last year the kind of the first year you ventured out into the TV?
I think it was the second year.
Okay.
And so this year would be the
Yeah.
third.
Okay.
Not only that, but we also advertised on Facebook last year.
Yeah.
And it brought in a lot of younger crowd. I mean, we were able to actually track that data and keep an eye on it. And it went from one day where we had posted it to over 10,000 views the very next day.
So now, did you say you were getting with the, like, Channel 9 directly to advertise?
We,
Is that what
last
you're
year,
doing?
well, the first year we did it, we were, met with Channel 4 and our friend Glenda Ragnall, who has the G Gallery, had used Channel 4 for the advertising for the Guthrie Escape. It was very successful. So she was actually instrumental in brokering us a really good deal. So we went back to Channel 4 again last year and got a good pricing units.
You might want to check with Cox as well, is why I was saying, because they have advertisement bundles for all of it. So you may just want to, it's worth a phone call.
We just don't want to be a just digital.
Right,
It has
no,
to be print,
Yeah.
TV, and social media. And some posters, information needs to be transferred to every reader.
Yeah.
So they can make sure it's not just one avenue.
So, but did I understand it correctly that you're saying that Cox does it through all the different television stations? Is that
Yep.
what you're saying?
Whatever's on there.
Oh, I see.
Well, you'll get it on your, we've done it before with a company I have. You go in there and you say, okay, I want this many spots on this, and that.
Oh, I see.
And then, boom, you get a price for that little bundle. So sometimes it's more cost effective than doing individually, is what I'm saying. If you were gonna spend, I don't know what you're gonna spend on your advertising.
That's what they're spending for. is
That's
the-
what we're spending,
everything that we're-
4,000,
What they're
yeah.
asking for.
Well, the
4,000.
4,000 of the 6 is for the
That's it?
advertising, yeah.
Yeah.
You probably get a heck of a deal through them, you might check. Just saying.
We'll certainly write that down.
And Channel 9 gets aggressive too, individually.
The proposal they had was on a weird station that I'd never even heard of.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like
And
KSBI
it's
52 or something?
like that, and I'm thinking, if I've never heard of it, I'm
Yeah.
not a TV freak,
Yeah.
but
No, you want 4, 5, or 9. and
I want
that's-
something that everyone recognizes.
Right.
Yeah, when they made us a presentation, it was to
Yeah.
put it on 52. and-
52.
Yeah, you don't do
and,
that.
KSBI and their News Now station.
Right.
Very little of it was directly to Channel 9, so.
Well, that's where I think the cable company might come into play.
That's not very helpful at all.
Any other questions? Jeremy, Tommy?
And we
Let's go
encourage
up.
everyone to dress up in Victorian clothing, come out for the walk. Every citizen needs to participate.
I'm looking for my top coat and hat right now.
I was gonna say, Steve, yeah. Okay. Thank you, ladies, very much. Okay. So Justin, a little guidance here. Do we want to say pending the budget? Is that a proper motion?
I like your phrase, agreeing in principle.
Well, the city's supported this since day
I
one.
understand.
Yeah.
So I think if the principal would, and again, I'm just a fly on the wall, in principle, I think we would definitely, our side of the fence support it again, so.
Like, something like to the effect of move to the support in principle the application for funding for Territorial Christmas.
There you go.
Yeah, I think the concern was we just didn't want, Carol, we didn't want you all
I
walking away
Thank
saying, we've got $5,000.
Yeah.
Right.
When the budget is approved, then this will follow in
As
sequence
long
and
as
you'll
we
get a
know
letter.
it'll be
But
in there.
I think that was part of the concern because technically we can't
Right.
encumber those funds.
Right.
It's just the way.
And that'll come through council
The
too.
rules are.
So
Thank you.
that budget part of it will.
Motion.
So
Anybody?
where would our ads appear for, our logo?
Your city logo appears on, right now on our Facebook page.
Okay.
I believe we were gonna put it on the calendar. It will be on our TV ads, supported by any print, anything we hang up.
So then I guess we could split it between advertising and
Event support.
Events.
Did the city support your security last year, the last 2 years?
Yes,
Yes,
we
they
asked
did.
for that.
Okay.
Yes, they did.
And we count that as,
In kind?
yes.
Fine. Mhm.
So do we.
And and
And they do the trash and the pickup afterwards and everything. The city's always been cooperative.
Yeah.
And Leroy's never made that come out of the budget as part of that process, just so you know. So.
That was just in kind.
Total, yeah. Do we have a motion, anybody?
that motion. Second.
Okay, so the motion is,
We could decide later how much is gonna come out of the event portion and the advertising portion.
So the motion is to support the Christmas.
Support
in
event.
principle,
In principle to $5,000.
Thank
for
you.
the 5,000.
Thank you very much.
All in favor, now that they're left?
Aye.
All opposed? No, okay.
And Tony seconded, right?
Yes.
Yes. Kaylin, you can come back in.
How come you had to get out?
I'm on it.
Okay.
All right, thank you. That was 1, 2, 3, 4, nothing. Rising Stars Rodeo. Front and center, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you guys for having me. I am Chris Neal, owner and producer of Rising Stars Calf Roping, and we are asking for $2,500 in event support for this year for the next event coming up, Thanksgiving weekend. And I think you guys, everyone probably has seen what I've submitted. Open to any and all questions that anyone may have.
Now, Chris, what kind of advertisement does your group put on for this? Isn't there a magazine or?
Yes, there's actually a event program that we have out there at the event for all the contestants and their families. They, all the contestants' names is printed in there where they keep time and score and all that. So everyone that attends will get one of those. Plus, if you just come in to watch, they're for sale there. So we do that there. We do a lot of advertising before the event, trying to get people here. So every rodeo magazine that you can think of, every professional magazine, we run full-page color ads starting September 1. So coming here in just a couple of weeks. So they'll be September, October, November. They'll run for 3 months in, I think it's 6 total different publications, magazines across the United States to kids and families that are rodeo oriented. So we do that, and then Facebook, social media is where pretty much everything is moving to these days. We have over 12,000 followers on Facebook alone. So we're pretty proud of that. We actually pay someone that does our social media year round. So it keeps everyone engaged, and that's something that we're really turning to, the social media, but we do have it in print and rodeo magazines. And then also RFD TV leading up to right before the event, a few weeks out. They normally do like a pre-show for their events throughout the week on Wednesday. Rural Evening News. I don't know if you guys watch Rural Evening News, but they always mention us and talk about what we got going on because we're American Rodeo Qualifier event for the Big American in Dallas. I don't know how familiar you are with all of that. So we are on their station as well on TV. Anybody else?
So have we helped you in the past? I don't think we have.
Yes, sir.
To the tune of the same amount? 2,500?
It's actually been different. It's been from 1,000 to 1,500 to 2,000. It's
All over?
Yeah, it's not been set. I've asked for 3,000, I think, last year and didn't get it. So
I think think this is about the third or fourth year, though, that are, at least 3 or 4 years that
Yes,
we've
I
received
actually-
some funding.
Yes, sir.
This goes on at the Lazy E, right?
Yes, sir. I actually signed a 5-year agreement for this event to be at the Lazy E.
What year are you in?
I
Third year?
think third year with this, yes.
It's coming up, right?
Yes, yes. We had 1,247 total entries last year in 2017 for this event.
You're saying when you have that many entries, for the total attendance, you usually multiply that by a certain number to estimate your total?
Yeah, normally multiply it by 3 somewhere, pretty.
A lot of that's gonna be family traveling with them too. isn't it?
Correct, yeah, mainly a youth-oriented event.
Oh, so it'd be mom, dad.
Mom, dad, grandma, grandpa,
Yeah.
yes.
Where are folks coming from for your event?
All over. We had 29 states and Canada last year.
So do you advertise just on that one rural news show, or do you advertise all over?
As far as TV?
Yeah.
No, on RFD TV is the only channel.
Okay.
Yes. It's mainly all the magazine print and the social media. And then, of course, and I have this, and this is old. This actually is from like 2 years ago. I do have the new logo now, and I've had new banners made. But this, if you want to pass this around, this shows you just a little bit of the advertising that we do at the event, as far as we have a video screen, so the logo's on the video board. We have banners. We do a live webcast at the event, and the sponsors scroll across the bottom. And so anyway, this is like 2 years old and not before y'all ever changed your logo, but that happened to be in my Guthrie folder. So that's a little bit of at the E, the week of the event advertising that we do as well. And I have had new banners made already from the past event with the new logo. And then this is an example of a Facebook post that our girl made. That was last year, Rising the Stars, right there. So we also do a social media post, a week or 2, 3 out, leading up to the event to come and see the city and all that kind of stuff.
So what did last year's post-event report look like? Did you do one last year?
A post-event report?
Yeah.
Yes, it's mandatory.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
What-
So, I mean, because I didn't see it in here, maybe I'm just missing it.
I don't think I was asked to give a.
No, you probably weren't, but I was just
Okay.
curious what it looked like.
I can pull it up and send it to you.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Because I know it has to bring in people to the hotels and motels, I would think.
Trying to see if I had a post event.
I mean, are you guys advertising our hotel motels out there at the event, or are you advertising Edmonds?
We're out there.
Yeah.
Really, all we advertise is City of Guthrie.
Okay.
At the event, once they're already there.
Yeah, then they're there.
Yeah, they're there. And so, Guthrie is on, like, here's our entry form that's going to go, this is last year's as well, I haven't made a new one, but, it's Guthrie, Oklahoma, and the logo is on the flyer as well. So we're just trying to send them to the city of Guthrie.
And Chris, like this here, is that off of your website, or is that?
No, that was a Facebook
post? Okay.
Yes.
All right.
I think she just went to the city of Guthrie's website or page
Yeah.
and pulled that picture and made a post and
Yeah.
said, come,
Do you do any kind of surveying of your contestants, or even more importantly, the family members of your contestants, to see things that they would like to see in the host city in Guthrie? Do you do anything that associates with that?
No, we really.
See, when you're doing a 5-year commitment, I'm interested to know, and many of those people are going to come back the next year.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm interested to know what Guthrie can do to be a better partner with you and with those people,
Mhm.
and the way we can do it is some kind of a survey.
Well, I think CVB could handle that out there at a booth.
Well, I mean, we'll have a booth out there.
That's what I mean.
We have something with Lazy E, but,
Yeah, and
I
you're
don't know if you've
welcome
ever-
to have a booth. Actually, Andrea was still here at the last event that we had, and she came, and I think, did you come
Yeah.
out there? They've done that before, where you bring a booth and have
'Cause I think-
brochures and.
yeah, and we'll have that there, and I've manned it every year, and it's sporadic.
Mhm.
And if you ask people verbally what they like, they like it. They're not, we're looking how we can like it better, how we can make it better, how we can improve every year, because that helps us. Obviously, it helps you too.
Maybe like a
I don't know if
survey
you're
on the
willing-
entry form type thing?
Something like
Well,
that. I don't
was
know.
about
if
to
it's-
suggest a Facebook poll, where if they're on your Facebook anyway, it's free to make one. They can enter their own. If you
Absolutely.
create, do you like this, or if you like something else, put it in the comments, what have you.
Maybe they get something
Can
for
we-
doing it.
And I like that too.
Can we
That's-
work with you on something like that?
Sure, yeah, and that's something, that my girl already is, she's paid to work and do that kind of thing
Yeah.
for me.
Well,
It's-
anything that
that's
someone has to
something
fill
that's-
out and leave somewhere, I think we're gonna.
And that's what I was gonna say, that's cost effective, that takes the pen and paper out of it, and them actually filling it out and getting it in hands of the right person.
Yeah.
When it's on, we all know that, when it's on Facebook, it's
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
So good or bad, when they make a suggestion or a comment, we could just make a post with the logo of
What?
the city of Guthrie and have any suggestions,
Yeah.
or, we could.
Well, I know we're only a small percentage of your budget. You're only asking for a small percentage
Correct.
from the CVB in the city of Guthrie. But that would be an important thing from my perspective.
Yes, sir.
In that partnership, to try to figure out how to get that feedback,
Mhm.
so how we can make it better next year.
Yeah. For instance, I'm seeing that that this happens on Thanksgiving weekend.
Yes.
Well, that's when opening night ceremony happens, that Saturday. So I don't know how many people overlap both of those events, but potentially that could be a big draw of something.
And what
That's-
is that?
That's the
opening?
Christmas.
The big lighted
Oh,
parade
really?
and
That-
also
is that
Outdoor
nice?
See,
Festival.
because their deal probably isn't at night, is it? Or is it?
Yours is what, Thursday, Friday, right?
It's actually Thursday, Friday,
Yeah,
Saturday,
so-
Sunday. It's all 4
Oh, I see.
days.
Well, the opening night is always a Saturday after Thanksgiving, and it's a
Mhm.
huge downtown event. I don't
Mhm.
know if that would.
Well, yeah, we could send our.
You
people
mentioned
to-
you have a lot of families, so I
Sure.
imagine that your kids would love it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
What time do y'all finish after general?
Well, I think actually Jessica and I worked through our schedule today, and it was gonna be around 9:30 at night, the first 2 days,
Mhm.
which would be Thursday,
Thursday,
Friday. And about the same, maybe even later, 10:30 or so on Saturday, and then we'll be through about 6 to 7 o'clock on Sunday. But there's different, we have different events throughout the day, so not everyone will be busy. We start at 8 a.m. every
So
morning.
you've got this age group and they're done by noon. Those
Yeah, about
people
noon,
could
1
come
o'clock, the
here.
first ones are finished, and then the
Exactly.
second age group will come in the second half of the day, and then they will stay over, and
Kind of
then.
rotate them in and out. if it
Yeah,
was
and then
done
they
right.
will compete the next day as well. If they competed in the morning, the next day they'll compete in the afternoon. If they compete in the afternoon, the next day they'll compete in the morning, kind of rotate. Yeah.
Perfect.
And did I miss it? It says attendance 4,200. Do you have an anticipated how many are coming for this year's show so far, or rodeo?
That's what Chris had put on the
Notification.
anticipated attendance for this year.
But how many participants are?
Anticipated for this
Yeah,
year participants? Always more than last year.
Last year was
1,247 last year.
So you're, okay.
So we've tried to increase every year, and
And that's
so,
if the weather's good and.
so
no
far-
ice.
It's inside.
Huh?
It's inside.
yes, yeah.
I know, but you gotta get them here over the icy roads.
Well, the good
Oh,
thing is that they have to pre-enter.
So they've already entered?
No, not yet, actually.
No, I mean at that point.
Correct.
For the weather.
Yeah, and so they'll be here unless it's absolutely ice storm.
Was it your event which blew the tents and stuff that one year when you set it up?
No.
No?
We've been pretty fortunate. We've been lucky to have good weather so far. Knock on wood. For thanks to that time of year. been good.
Are there any other questions?
You mentioned you identify a couple hotels here, Hampton and Sleep Inn. Do you have a core hotel, a headquarters hotel?
Not yet, no sir, I do not. No. And what we have done in the past is you guys have required me to spend a portion of the funding at hotels here in Guthrie, and I have done that and turned in the receipts of proof of that.
And that's for the workers? That's
Yes,
for
my staff,
your
my
staff that are
employees,
there.
yes sir. Mhm.
And how big is the staff?
Large, about 30
Yeah.
total. Some of them live locally. I've tried to get where we hire some that live around here that they can stay at home where we don't have to buy them a room versus the ones that travel. I mean, I have some that are judges and stuff like that come from Texas and
Sure.
come from around that I have to get room, but we have cut down on some of our expense by trying to hire some local people to work.
And I didn't hear the answer to the question. What year of your 5-year contract are you in with Lazy E?
This will be the third year.
Third year? Okay.
And we don't anticipate or have plans of going anywhere. We have a great relationship with the Lazy E, and we're happy where we're at, and we're continuing to grow, and I've been out there all day actually working with Dan and Jessica and Todd and the whole crew. I've been here since noon today working on stuff, and so anything unforeseen, I don't.
Plus, it's pretty first class out there.
Yeah, yes, for sure, 100% first class. Love being associated with the whole atmosphere out there and everyone that's involved. Everybody's been good to us, so we want to continue to be here. We don't have any reason to move, so.
Is your social media manager a local person or are they somewhere else?
She actually lives in Tulsa.
Okay, cool.
Mhm.
So you could get with her.
Right.
Yeah, her name is Audrey Hart, and Vallejo Marketplace is her business. But you can I can share her email and her cell phone or anything we need to do.
That'd be awesome.
Or I can communicate that too with whoever
Well, it'd be the tourism.
does the social media for you guys, or however I can line that up.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you, Chris.
Good seeing you, Chris.
Thank you guys.
See you again, Chris.
You do realize they can't do nothing financially till the budget.
Well, I heard that from Christmas. I got that. What was that be next month, or how will we know or find out to get the answer to that?
It wouldn't be until after October.
Your budget's October 2nd.
Yeah,
I mean, no,
that's an
the
official
middle of-
budget, but it'll, no later than the 1st of October, first week of October.
So still a month
Yeah.
or so before
Yeah.
our event.
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
Okay. All right. And I guess I'll just wait to hear from you.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Thank
you.
Thanks, Chris.
I am so impressed by this. Where's he from?
Okay, any other discussion?
I think it's Texas. No, Muldrow, Oklahoma.
Well, yeah.
Down by Fort Smith, North Dakota.
Any questions, anybody? Did we miss anything, Justin? You got all your questions answered?
I think so. I think I'm good. You guys are.
Did he say that he had quarters to staff in the hotels here in Guthrie?
Yes.
Okay, and he-
We have, in the past, that is what we designated for him to get funds, was that he had to spend the money, because we can't designate what hotel, but we designated that it had to be spent in Guthrie.
What percentage do we require? What percentage?
I think we told him, I think if we gave him 2,000, that whole 2,000 has to go to The hotel.
The hotels.
Which
And
he's
then-
showing as motels were 4,500, so.
Yeah, and he brought us,
No problem spending all that.
bills back and,
No, he just uses his staff.
Yeah.
and then we reimbursed him for that.
Okay.
Last year, actually, we turned him down on one of his events, flat turned him down. Because he had gotten it up to like $5,000.
And I guess Leroy approved an amount. hasn't he?
Leroy gave him the 1,000 for advertising last year, because he had already gone out and
Did it, yeah.
and did it before he,
Got the money. And I think that was his concern this time. is
Well, of
how much
course, I
money
mean,
he
he's,
get.
he's bumping up against his timetable, not knowing whether, even though this is a small part of his total budget,
Yeah.
he's still bumping up against it. He
Yeah.
doesn't know, he can't count on 100%.
Yeah.
And so I understand that, but we're constrained.
and the only, I just realized, I forgot to ask him, but we can ask him, was he didn't put in there, one of the other rodeos we gave, or did last year, was the ambulance.
Yeah, ambulance money.
The border bash.
Well, that is someone else. That's someone else. That's not
But
me.
he didn't have this, he didn't have ambulance expense in his, maybe.
Maybe it depends on the events, there were open
Yeah.
and no bull riding.
No,
So-
this is.
Anyhow.
Man, same.
Yeah.
So, is there any more discussion? Is there a motion? Does anyone want to do anything, or do we want to just wait and see what the budget is?
We'll wait until the budget.
Okay. So, do I have to just do it as a no action item or table it?
No, it just says a possible action on the agenda items. I don't know if that means.
You just do no action, you take no action.
Okay, so we will no action this until, Justin, until we get a budget.
Okay.
Is that fair to everyone? Okay. Discussion of the budget plan for 2019.
Okay, so, like we said 40 times already, our 2019 budget is still out there a ways, but I wanted to let you guys know how I'm kind of like trying to wrap my brain around it so far, just so you know, kind of how I am just estimating and trying to plan for next year. On the marketing side of stuff, in terms of like stuff that's just not, this is all the usual things like printing brochures, giveaways, promotional, that kind of stuff. If you go down to these advertising, what I'm considering advertising contracts, Lazy E, the Pollard Theater, and the Pollard Theater number that is on here that I sent out in your budget packet the last week. After I sent that out, I got the actual sponsorship information from Jennifer at the Pollard, and the actual sponsorship that they're level that they are asking about is a $5,000 level. So it's a little more than I was planning on, but just to clarify that if we did do a Pollard sponsorship, it's about a week or two ago, I bought an ad in their program for the coming, starting this month. And so the cost of that ad, which is $850, that would be prorated out of the $500 sponsorship level. So that ad would go towards that, reaching that $500 or $5,000 sponsorship level.
Because it flows into the next year. That ad does, right?
Yeah.
As well,
yeah.
that's why.
Mhm. Right.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
That's my question.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
good
for
question.
the entire season.
Because the program, they're selling for the whole.
Yeah,
whole year?
they printed the programs.
Okay.
And it's for the
already.
whole- Okay,
Yeah.
it's for the
They're-
whole
they're-
season.
They have a base program, and then they have an insert for the
Right.
individual plays that they
Yes.
put on. So he's buying time on the base, that's for all of the.
Okay.
Right.
What's a sports museum?
We do
I know,
that.
but have,
We do that every year for his signs.
Signs.
Signs
Is it that-
out
oh, yeah, it is
on
that way.
on
It
the
is.
highway.
Yeah.
So you have to split that between the years, technically.
What now, Brian?
The 850 would need to be split between the years, technically.
technically, yes.
Yeah, you'd have to split it between 18 and 19.
So basically you'd be going
Wouldn't you?
to say.
No, because he's buying the whole.
Because you're buying it up front.
Yeah, let's say October 10th.
They're
buying
just
the whole
gonna,
base.
they are just
So-
gonna do a bookkeeping thing
Yeah, for the whole year.
to give us
But
credit.
you pulled that out of this year's budget, the
Yes, sir.
850.
850, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be advertising after our fiscal year of 18's over. It's gonna advertise for 19.
They're still gonna use that that program until the season's done.
Until the season's over next May.
I mean, that would be like saying on the brochure
Yeah.
that we use for maybe 2 years, you know, and we pay
Right, I get it.
for that. So it's,
Okay.
it's when you buy it. as
Or you
opposed to
could
when-
prorate it, say 25% for 2018 and then 2019.
Well, the only reason I bring it up is because you say the 850 can go towards the 5,000, but not so much, because that 5,000 doesn't happen until 19, and you
Right.
can't take monies that were spent in 18
But
and
they're just gonna
apply
essentially bill
towards
us.
it.
Right.
They're gonna bill us less than
They'll bill less than
$5,000.
the 5,000,
Yes.
or whatever you guys agree to give.
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's up to
So-
this board to what you guys do on that.
So Tommy and Kalen, and I don't know if you, last year, in the past, we supported the Pollard. Last year, they came to us very generic, did not, just said, here's what I want, did not break down their costs or anything, so they did not get any money from us last year.
It's not that they didn't get any money, we asked for additional information.
And they never
then-
came-
and
they
then
never got it.
And they
stopped.
never came back.
Was
But-
that due to their, I know they, like, their staff has changed.
Part of it was, but he said, we'll just do without you.
But the Pollard is a big deal, just in my
And I
opinion.
understand that, but they did not give us the information to get the funds, and we asked for more information, and we didn't get it,
Do
so.
we feel like that's damaged our relationship with them?
No, because we want to do it more as a sponsorship, as an
Right.
ad, versus event support, because they are an every year thing.
Yes.
And is what I have asked, if we decide to go this route, is what I have asked Justin to see if the city attorney will write up for us, or they could write it and give it to us to get approved, is an advertising contract, just like we have with Lazy E.
Right.
Well,
Specifies what we get
right.
and how we pay it.
And these are the things that would be part of that sponsorship.
That's what I was curious, what do you get for that?
Basically, the city logo or a tourism logo on all their, like, all their print stuff. And then also logo placement on all their video and slideshow stuff in the lobby.
No tickets?
They have in the past, they have in the past for our giveaways given us tickets without.
I have seen some of that.
Without being
Right.
part of the sponsorship agreement.
Right.
So they in the past have given us tickets for our various giveaways.
To digress back to your last page, I'm just curious, when was the last time we priced brochure printing?
I'm trying to get a new quote on that right now.
Do you know off the top of your head how many we have printed a year? Or when you order, how many you get?
4,000, 5,000?
Yeah, I think,
You get 5,000 for $6,000?
no.
That's
I was
not,
going
that's not that great a deal.
I don't remember off the top of my head. I'll have to look it up and tell you.
Well, just a quick quote from the company that I use for the boarding house. I can buy 45,000 for $4,400.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
So if we want to, I just was curious, when was the last time we priced that sort of thing?
No.
Do you keep that local, or where does that printing go?
I
You weren't here during that.
Yeah,
so you
I'll have to look
wouldn't
it up and tell you.
know. Yeah.
I think the company, I remember right from the invoice, it was Conquest Printing, but I can't remember off the top of my head where they.
We should give opportunities to all the local printing, to see if they can match or beat the best bid out there.
Yeah.
So what is the
One
city's
Stop
percentage?
do them because they do them for us. So,
Who does?
One stop copy.
I like to support local as much as possible,
Sure.
but if we are going to save at least 15%
Oh, yeah.
using a different
Yeah.
company, I think you just have to.
Yeah, you have to bite the bullet on that and just go.
And, I think the way it's been happened in the past was, it wasn't like the CVB buys all of or has them all printed at the beginning of the year, because those brochures change so often.
Businesses come and go.
Yeah, and so they order like, a couple thousand of them, then and 3 or 4 months later, they make changes to the things that have either opened or closed and
Right.
print more. That's kind of how it's been done in the past. speaking of the brochure, how are we doing on time? Okay, real quick on the brochure stuff. What I think I'd like to do this year, that's a little bit different with the brochure. I would like to have, print some, like the trifold like we have in the past. But one thing that I've seen that I think would be pretty helpful for the local businesses would be to have like a version of the brochure that's like a tear-off map version of it, where you can if someone's shopping at the boarding house or wherever else, and they ask, hey, where's a good place to eat or whatever, you can look at that map. If it's not on the map, you can just mark it and tear it off. And the opposite side of the map will have brochure information, like it typically does.
Yeah.
But those tear-off sheets are pretty handy, like a placemat-sized kind of map deal. That would be pretty, I think, just helpful to local businesses in working with tourists who are coming to their shops.
So you just have a map of all downtown on it, basically.
Yeah, and I think that my thought process is on that map we would have like restaurants, hotels, tourist kind of things. Not necessarily listing out like what every single building is,
Right.
but just things that tourists would be, looking for like food and lodging and that kind of stuff.
Now you're gonna have to use your printer deal.
Well, I will say anything that has perforation is gonna be more expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the version I've seen wasn't necessarily perforated. It had like the glue strip on one side where you just kind of tear it
Similar
off.
to like when you go to Six Flags and you get the little
Yeah,
map
little
and
map.
it's got this is here.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
a little frog that's for whatever.
But the material cost should be less because it's just a piece
Yeah.
of paper.
It's a lot.
Why couldn't the map just be all on the back of your brochure? Can't do
There's
that?
no
Yes,
folding involved.
that's a great question. On the actual like folding brochure, we would still have that would fold out and you'd have the map on the other side. But I think that having both versions, because you need to have a brochure to fit in like brochure racks
Right.
around the state. But I think having the flat tear-off map sheets would be to sit on countertops around town would be kind of handy.
Especially during big
Oh,
events.
okay.
I get what you're saying.
I
think
had
that's
no idea what you were
that's
talking
awesome.
about.
I
Brendan.
do.
You're saying a brochure and the separate.
Map.
Yeah, so two separate versions of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the tear-off thing is not a folded
No,
brochure.
No.
it's just flat. Just like a piece of paper like this. And
That'd be like a stack of them. I think they're like that.
It's like it's a placemat setting
placemat set.
Yeah.
that just has the map. You can fold it, put it in your pocket or not.
I'm like, what is? I have not heard of this technology.
Pulling it off a tablet.
Yes.
Not that much
Okay.
different than like that.
Yeah.
Anything else in the budget on the Pollard? Are we gonna put in there for tickets for the event? For the various events, or are we gonna just put them on the Trust Me system? Because they have been very good to us.
Yeah, I think when it comes to like that stuff, they're always willing to be good neighbors. and
Okay.
those kind of things.
Okay.
Trust me.
Yeah.
Okay.
On the Lazy E contract that we have every year, it's basically nothing's changed from the past year to this year's contract that Todd sent me. We've had some conversations about trying to do more like back and forth with social media. So just like Chris was talking about with his social media manager, I met with the Lazy E's social media manager as well, and so we're going to try to do more just back and forth type promotions with them over, this year, just on Facebook, Instagram. I noticed like a couple weeks ago, she had posted on the Lazy E's Instagram page something about Lazy E stuff, and all she did was just tag the Guthrie OK Instagram page. And that particular day, we got tons of new followers just from her doing that. And so I think the more that stuff happens, it'll benefit us greatly on our social media stuff. So
I notice there's VIP tickets on that one. I'm just-
That's a total of 20 tickets.
yes, that's their Cinch Time event. He has, and there's also like a parking pass thrown in with for each evening with that. Those 4 tickets.
If y'all have not been to that, that's worth going.
So we going, Brian?
I haven't been, I'm in.
Good.
I've never been invited. I didn't know we had tickets that Steve's been hoarding those. Look at it. Now we know.
So
Are we gonna redo the billboard?
Yes.
Who's paying for it?
It's, the way the contract is written, if we change out the artwork on the billboard, the city pays for the cost of changing out. One design is included in each contract for the billboard.
Okay.
During the year, if we say, we don't like that anymore, then the city, according to the way the contract is written, the city pays to have it redone.
Okay, so you're talking the city or CVB gonna pay for it?
Oh, CVB, sorry.
So
Which is it?
this
Wait,
contract
wait.
is, go on.
Why can't we put that in the contract? As, any contract, he's offering us a contract, we could say, okay, as part of, we would like an amendment to put this in that, redo the billboard.
Yeah.
It's only $300-400.
Yeah.
You're giving him $10,000,
Yeah.
$300-400 ain't gonna hurt it.
Sure, I'm cool with asking that. Really, from going forward, the only reason why the billboard is outdated was just a change of logos.
Oh, I know.
So changing the billboard going forward is probably not gonna happen, but yeah.
Oh, I understand that,
Yeah.
not changing the billboard, but, we need it updated. If we got a new logo and everything, we still, it's 2 years old now.
Yeah. I forgot, I'm taking minutes.
You are. Are you not taking minutes?
Conversing.
You have a
You just watch it.
You got it here.
Okay, anything else on the, Justin, for the September meeting, do you anticipate we'll have a budget to look at by then?
Well,
Mayor
I think
shaking
this
his
is the
head, yes.
timeline of that being.
the council's got to pass the budget before October 1.
Yeah.
Well, but your budget is based on a certain amount of money from the hotel motel tax anyway.
Right.
I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah.
So if it's $100 from hotel motel tax, you get 30%, you get $30.
But
It'll be in the official budget before October 1.
Yeah.
So yes, sometime in September, there will be an approved budget.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do I get, 3.5%? What is 3?
Anything else on the budget, Justin?
Yeah.
Which ought to be up this year because
Something that I wanted to kind of have a conversation with you guys about is on the special event side of things. This is how my brain sees these, in terms of here are the events they're organized by Guthrie. These are the people, the local people who are putting these, they're creating a culture in Guthrie that makes Guthrie Guthrie. So in my brain, I put them in one group. Here are the Lazy E rodeo thing, people that come to us. And I didn't put border badges on there. In my mind, those are events where we need to go get in front of these visitors and convince them to come into town.
Mhm.
So I see that like a different, philosophically from an advertising standpoint. These are different things.
Yeah.
In the past, we've kind of treated them the same, but they're different in terms of how they're organized and what their purpose is from a CDB standpoint. So I'm kind of trying to figure out how we can approach them differently in terms of in my mind, I see this as we're supporting these legacy kind of events in town. These are, in my mind, are more like advertising contracts. This is pure advertising
Right.
down here.
Why couldn't we do that then? Make these sponsorship packages of sort
Yeah,
instead of,
that's what I would I'd kind of prefer to do it that way. Let's have advertising contracts with these events at the Lazy E, similar to what we already do with the Lazy E organization itself.
right.
Then have, these would be a separate process. And something else, this goes into something I've been thinking about in terms of how, the best use of your all's time as a board every once a month. With these events that are happening every year, do you guys want to come back every year and do this, do like what Christmas did tonight? Do you, as a board, want to spend your board meetings doing that every month? Or do you want to like spend your time each month working with, okay, here's my thought was these events, we just have some kind of accountability system where.
And it is what it is every year.
Yes,
The
exactly.
problem is like the fireworks, I was talking to that family, they spend about 3 times that money that's up there
3 to 4 times.
on that show alone. Okay, so that's huge out of their pocket.
But the unfortunate part is we don't have that kind of money to give.
I get it, but still, you know, if we're gonna keep doing that type of thing, and if I were the family putting that on, there's a certain point in time where I'm saying, whoa, you know, I'm not gonna keep throwing 10, 12 grand of my own money on the deal.
Sure.
I've worked with them, helping them raise more money, and I can't get it through his head that don't just go tell people, give me 50 or $100 and I'll put you on the poster. I don't do that.
Yeah.
I will run 3 times a year.
Right.
You're not getting a banner of your home for less than $300-400, you know, a year. And if he could do that, he could offset a lot.
So you're working with them on that, son?
A little bit. They're really good friends of mine.
Yeah, they're good people. I just wanted to bring that up because
Yeah.
I don't know that that's fair on that kind of deal, depending upon what they're bringing in. I don't know
Yeah.
what they're bringing in revenue-wise.
Well, they rely a lot on that. Of course, this year kind of bit on them because of the way when it happened and when they had to quit selling fireworks out of their stand. They rely a lot on what they set off is only what they sell. So
Yeah.
people can buy that. Yeah, this year it was a little different.
So I don't know if you can cookie cutter that,
I don't know if you
Yeah.
can.
is all I was thinking. I don't know that you can.
However, you know, if that changes or if it doesn't change, I want to be able to come to these board meetings and get your all's help on other stuff.
Well, maybe if we took this that we know they had last year and if they come in and ask for more, then we have them come in and talk to us.
Well, now, we did cut it down to quarterly presentations, so
When we first started a couple of years ago, when I came up with what the concept was, okay, these people coming in, and I was of the assumption that after a couple of years, 3-4 years, they're supposed to be self-sufficient.
Yeah. I would agree with that.
And I thought that was
the
what
way
we're
the,
going for.
the way the
That takes
guidelines
everybody
are
out
actually
of the
written,
guidelines.
it's 5 years.
And
That's right for me.
that way, we can spend our money doing other things to promote
New
Guthrie
things.
and bring people here. So we have a bigger budget.
No, I think these, like, I don't know if these events are ever going to be.
Self-sustaining?
Yeah.
The participation grows, like, hopefully grows so exponentially that it's hard to stay out in front of it. It's hard to
Well,
stay out in
then-
front of
No,
it.
I'm not saying anything bad about it, but that was a concept a couple of years ago.
Right.
And I
Right.
thought that's the way we were going.
Yeah.
You know, I know we've had changes, so it's hard.
Well,
As they get bigger, it
I
costs
think,
more.
yeah, I think in an ideal world, you would get, let's just say, Territorial Christmas would get branded and they would be self-sufficient, and then you could move that $5,000 into a new event to bring something new into Guthrie. I think in an ideal world, that's what would happen.
Right.
It's tough to stay ahead of it.
Yeah.
Costs go up.
Well, and then like the people, look at they're expecting maybe 10,000 people on Territorial Christmas
Yeah.
this year. That's a lot.
And we're a board of 7 people.
Yeah.
And half of them are retirement age.
Yeah,
So it's
so-
a lot to do.
Yeah.
And even if Christmas was a self-supporting event where they didn't come and ask us for anything, we'd still be looking at the fact that they bring in, 10,000 people.
Yeah.
And so as a tourist organization, we want to be in front of those 10,000 people. So I think even if they didn't come, we would still want to be involved, like supporting that somehow.
And you said the right thing, instead of giving up, we have to find another way as a board to promote that as well, that event or other events.
And that,
You still want to be a partner.
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
I
Still
like
wanna
the
be a
idea of
partner.
sponsoring, just being a sponsor and getting all those
Hey, what are you
benefits
looking
of
at?
advertising as a
10.
sponsor.
18 grand, I mean, that whole top list is for the citizens, really.
Yeah.
Well, now, and keep in
That's
mind.
a small price to pay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And this is
Seriously.
Yeah, we're with these events up here. That's helping really like create the culture of Guthrie.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I
Not
mean.
only that, how many people
Basically,
come to-
it's supporting the sales tax base.
Yeah.
Sure.
That's
I
what
was-
it's bringing in.
In terms of what this board spends their time on, I would rather like allocate your time down to here.
Yes.
Like if we carve out, say there are 5 groups or events that are wanting to kind of kick off
Right.
something new. If we have 5 grants of $1,000, and this board helps get them off the ground with those, that seems like a pretty wise use of your time.
That's where we should be
Yeah.
going.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now,
To bring in this-
Red Brick Nights, we paid for what? Last year we paid for, or 2 years ago, we paid for their staging. Last year, what did we pay for? Just insurance and out of the 2,000?
Yes, it went, this current fiscal year, it went down to 2.
And we paid for their insurance.
Just the $2,000 was all it was.
Oh, okay, we didn't have, okay.
Little Bridges, we didn't give any money to them this year.
Yeah,
I
we
believe we
did.
did, yeah.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah,
My first
2,500.
I gave her 2,500 to be a sponsor.
That came through council.
Yeah,
Somehow
see,
or another.
that's what it was, yeah. Okay, it didn't go through us, it went through.
That came through us.
Leroy, yeah.
Came out of this budget though.
But it came out of our budget.
Yeah,
I don't know why it went to us then.
Well, they just, they came in
Late.
late. They didn't have that really good a presentation, in all honesty.
Right.
But they bring a lot of people in town.
Yeah, there's another thing, they got a bazillion people out there, so we need to be out there
Yeah.
convincing them to come to Guthrie.
That's exactly right.
But we need them to put accurate numbers in their economic impact numbers.
Well, but one thing is, when I was saying on that top, and then I'm gonna be quiet the rest of this meeting, but
I'm writing that down.
right in the minutes.
That's on
But
camera.
at the top, when I say for the citizens, okay, yeah, that does bring in like my mom and dad from Oak City or yours or whatever, and it brings in people and family and all that stuff, and people that are just coming in for the Christmas shows and all that stuff from out of town. But it is for our community.
Yeah.
Okay, and 18,000 is way little to be spending on our community. Okay, we should be spending
Well,
way more on our community than that.
See, you're just
Is my
looking at
opinion.
I know,
That's all.
Brian, but see, you're just looking at the CVB portion. You gotta understand what the city puts in.
Right, I get it.
You know, that's way more than.
Yeah, they do. There's a lot of in-kind in there.
There's a lot of in-kind out
Yeah,
there.
I'm sure you're right, there is. Security, police, trash,
I think you
cleanup.
have to be cognizant, though, that the funding base for what the CVB is recommending to spend is hotel motel.
Right,
Those top 5 do very little hotel motel.
I get it.
The next 4 do a lot more hotel motel.
Yeah.
Steve, they're not doing it.
Aren't they? I mean, I'm just.
Or maybe that top list needs to be shifted over to council then, if that's the case, and
Well,
and
I mean,
away from hotel motel.
The top 5 is branding Guthrie.
Guthrie.
The next 4 do not brand Guthrie.
Exactly,
Like I said, you
So,
know,
but-
that's our sales tax base.
Yeah.
right. You would know on the hotel motel if it's coming in or not.
Yeah.
It's not, you're saying.
All right.
Even if, these things, even if someone isn't, spending the evening in a hotel for these things, those things are still creating the culture of Guthrie
Oh,
that makes
absolutely.
people want to visit here.
Absolutely. And the driving
Without-
restaurants and the driving shops.
Without these things, if these things didn't exist, I think the number of people staying in Guthrie would plummet, just
That's
because
all.
we wouldn't have a Guthrie culture.
Right.
I agree. Yeah.
And I gotta say, those events are established in a very good Guthrie culture, like the Red Brick Nights, the fireworks.
They're our brand.
Those are the newer brands, and the Christmas and the 89ers, Bluegrass are the older brands,
Yeah.
which, we need to keep them up.
I really like the word that you keep using, our legacy events. That's like a branding in and of itself. Guthrie has a legacy of certain things to create a culture. That's
Yeah.
really good.
The only other thing in terms of like planning for next year, I've lost track of whatever. looking at FY19, we're going to lean a little more heavily into just advertising in general.
Okay.
I'm hoping to have somewhere around like the $15,000 range in the marketing budget to look at print, TV, digital, and social media. So it's more than we've done before. And so I think it's going to be a good year to start looking at, what avenues work, whether, trying different things advertising-wise we haven't tried before, and seeing what's successful throughout the year. And so we're going to hopefully be able to try some things, and we're not going to be able to we don't have enough money to try everything this year. So over the course of the next few years, we can see, okay, in FY19, A and B work, but C and D were just stupid. We can get rid of those, and then the next year we can add different things. So hopefully in 3 or 4 years, we'll really be able to dial in on how to advertise Guthrie with that marketing budget. So I'm pretty excited about being able to steer some of the marketing budget at those things this year.
See, and since we have a new economic development director, there may be some joint
Absolutely.
advertising scenarios that go on between you and them,
Yeah.
where it's not so painful.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, well, going back to, new things, and I know this year and last year, we went to a lot of these trade shows and stuff like that, and Vernon went to quite a few. So what sort of feedback did we get from her? Is it still worth pursuing these? Like the one in Wichita Falls, or Dallas?
Yeah, Burl has thought that it's definitely worth it, but
It is time consuming.
It is time consuming, but also like from her feedback, as well as talking to the folks at Travel OK, those trade show things are long-term relationship building.
Yeah.
I've talked to them about possibly trying to go to that American Tour Bus Association marketplace, and that's like a 2 or 3 year process of meeting those folks and establishing those relationships. So those tour buses, it becomes part of their thing where they know that Guthrie exists, and they plan that out, years in advance.
I think CVB tried it probably about 5 years ago.
Yeah.
They actually went to the national convention as well.
And from what I've learned, like it has to be the kind of thing you
Yeah,
have to
keep it
commit to 2, 3, 4 years to see that pay off. Going once, they get you nothing. But in terms of specific trade shows, a recommendation we got from Travel OK, the one up in Wichita, Kansas, has a big audience of folks. There's a women's trade show, travel, whatever, in Wichita. So 15,000 people come to this thing, and it wouldn't cost us a ton of money in travel expenses, just up the road.
Well, the key is, how do you get them here?
Yeah, and that's something that we started that conversation with the Travel OK folks to figure out, how do we participate in this so it's worth it. They're kind of like mentoring us through that process. That whole bit of the trade show element is something that's just foreign to me, and yes, I'm learning.
Now, in your budget thing, are you putting in some of these? Well, the OK shows where we went to Tulsa last year, and we went to McAllister to the ammo plant. We went up to Phillips 66 and went to one of their business things in Ponca City.
Yeah, I've got a pot of money to do all those different things. We'll figure out which ones, over the next couple months.
Okay.
So you're going to budget it for 2000.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Well, you guys have to go through that budget with them, don't you? I mean, you present the budget to this board and then they approve it? Is that how it works? No? I don't know. This is the first time I'm sitting on this board.
Correct me if I'm wrong, in the past, the tourism department has come to the board and say, here's our big line items, so you're spending this much money in marketing, this much money in special events, this much money in trade show, and then at that point the board says that those breakouts look good, and then the details of those are.
Yeah, it was,
you know,
yeah, you're right, it was a little bit more generic
Yeah.
as far as the board was concerned. There was input and dialogue. It wasn't a lot of deep in detail. And then that became a part of the tourism board, or the tourism department's input into the total budget, which of course the city council then approves.
But with it getting bigger and bigger, I would think that more input would potentially be warranted, maybe. Because it is getting bigger, the budget, I would think, if we're up 18% over last year, right?
Yeah, yes, I was looking at the last.
That's a big chunk.
Yeah, I was looking at the last, like 14, 15 years of hotel motel tax, and there is kind of like that.
Is there?
And this coming year, I think will be like probably the largest budget in that 14-year span, but it's not like way up
Okay.
here.
So it's not 18% over last year necessarily.
Yes.
You're gonna give up, okay.
Yeah, it is. But that's not, like, historically,
Right.
that's not like way above the record revenue for
Okay.
hotel motel tax.
Okay.
I just saw it the other day, I'll send it to you.
All right,
You can see that graph.
Yeah, yeah,
It's like
yeah.
2,000.
Yeah.
But keep in mind, Brian, part of our hotel motel tax money goes to Parks Department
yeah.
too.
Yeah, we're-
Right.
So, any more questions on the budget? And I did really good until Bothroyd showed up.
Hey!
We're almost done by now. Who's gonna
We got
update
another
us
one
on
tomorrow,
vacancies,
Steve.
Mayor or you? Mayor, would you care to update us on
Just
vacancies?
to give you a background, we've got 7 members of the board.
Right.
4 of them are appointed at large.
Okay.
So they basically have been a resident for a year, are not members of 2 other boards, those same stipulations. The other 3 are nominated by each of the 3 wards. And so we've got, right now, we have advertised for vacancies, the at-large vacancies that we've got. And we've got 4 candidates.
Okay.
We have 2 people at this table who were filling unexpired terms. So they're going officially off the board with a shorter, not a 2-year term, shorter than that. If they would like to stay on the board, then we need another application with a new date. And it's Ward 1 and Ward 3
I thought 2 was one of them.
No.
I thought that's what I saw on his last meeting. I mean, on this.
Ward 1 and 3 is what I had anyway. I'm pretty sure it's 1 and 3.
Okay.
So then those 2 council persons would get together and nominate a person to the city council, and
Those are those are for the positions that are not filled now.
not filled
Yes,
now.
the 2 folks who are, Kaylin and Tommy.
Are part of the at-large.
Right.
Are part of the at-large. So if the 2 of you are still interested in being a part of this wonderful group,
For a new term,
technically, I do need another application and just to initial the date that you apply for.
And so would there?
Are their terms up? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes, they just got here.
I'm confused too.
Maybe because they filled people that resigned.
Your term's over.
Okay, so
but
is
we-
there a deadline that we need to do that?
I would like to have it for,
Is that
Tomorrow.
the same
I'd
application?
like to have it this week.
What if we've got it right here?
If I've
we had it some-
got their information here, can they just sign in date?
Sign date.
Hey, there you go.
That works.
So can you,
I told you we got this.
can we not push that, well, it's not on the agenda, so we can't push it through tomorrow night either, can we? So we can do it
No,
on
that's
next
fine,
month. Yeah, we do
because
it
they
on
don't go
next
off
month.
until September.
Or the end of
Okay, yeah.
September?
So then we're ahead of it, we're still ahead of it, Brian.
Now, Steve, their terms will be all 3 years, right?
Now they will go to a 3-year term.
And the new one, well, some of the other new ones coming on might not
So 4, 3.
be 3 years, right? Depends on who they're replacing.
Yes, because one is Justin's position,
Okay.
and so there again, he was going off Actually, we might be better off doing a,
New
well,
3
'cause
year.
you're going off, I've got you down going off September of 18.
Yeah, so that's a new year.
So that'll be a new 3-year term.
We would just do a whole new year.
Do a 3-term. And that would be nominated by Ward 3, the 2 councilmen there.
Would be one, they see.
Broke up.
He's on the board.
No, not where he physically lives.
It's confusing.
Commission. Not where he physically lives.
Commission.
Not where he physically
Oh,
lives.
I get it, yeah, that's right, I remember. No, that's right, I could nominate you, that's
Okay.
right, okay.
All right, so by the time we meet
Right.
in October, when we have to do budget stuff, we should be at a full board of 7 members.
Easy.
Yeah.
Hopefully,
You
easy.
need to do the
Yep.
budget before.
Gentlemen, I'm sorry, I have to
Okay.
get back to my
Okay.
shop to let the movie people go.
All right.
Take a
They're like texting me like, when are you gonna
Say
get
hi
back?
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you,
Thank
Kenny.
you.
Absolutely.
Anyway, that's where we're at. So if the 2 of you are still agreeable, I'll be nominating you to the full council at our, not tomorrow, but 2 weeks from tomorrow.
Okay. How many times a year does Brian come in?
Well, we could vote on that. No, he's here all the time.
Staff comments, anything?
I'll
more
be
for-
quiet, Tommy.
No, you're good.
Anything more for the group, Justin, that we didn't cover in all the budgets and everything?
I don't think so. Verla is in Colorado all week. Some, like just medical testing.
Okay.
So, not that kind of a.
Well, you said Colorado medical testing.
So is she going over to shop or something? That's why she's
Is she bringing back?
Never mind, you guys are tough. She's watching it.
So,
I hope the volume's still up.
but, we're hoping for some really fantastic results from her experience there. So, Verla, if you're watching. Yeah, other than that, I don't have any more comments.
Okay. Comments from members of the board?
I'm good.
Good? Yep. Good. The only thing I have to add that, the Mayor, I don't even know if you know this. Justin sort of knows this. American Legion has sort of informed the committee that in a long-term way, 89ers, they may not be able to continue to be the sponsor of it, as per se.
What?
Oh, American,
That's your wheelhouse.
Well,
They can't get people to
They
step
can't
over.
get, so they,
Take over.
Why is that?
because they cannot get American Legion people to run it. And it's just, the long and short of it is, they're all getting old and,
So does it need a physical location or?
well, the committee, the way I understood it, Justin had to leave and it got into it, was Jerry Ball, who was the chairman and who was still the company commander.
He's the post manager.
Huh? What? Yeah. Was to take it to the Legion,
To the executive board.
to the executive board, and come up with a succession plan.
And they do have a chairman for, oh, maybe they got a, I guess they got a post commander for next year. I don't know if they have a
Who's the
chair.
post commander?
Maurice, I can't remember Maurice's last name.
Okay. So anyhow, there's still been no chairman. But anyhow, just so
New
that,
chairman.
I've been it for 5 years.
we almost nominated Steve just because he wasn't there at the last
I know,
meeting.
that's what I'm thinking, he's the new chairman.
So anyhow, there are some changes coming on 89ers down the pike.
What would be
Is the
the,
committee gonna stay the same?
Eventually, the discussion was eventually, because the Legion people were saying, well, they're gonna take all the money and start, 89ers group was gonna start with 0 money. And after a little negotiating, that went away. And so they are gonna get 10,000 seed money to start, and yes, they're working towards splitting the committee away from American Legion so that it can be its own separate entity.
And there's a number of challenges there.
Yes.
The 89ers, of course, is under the umbrella of
Legion.
the American Legion, which is the 501c3. So a new 501c3 has to be created for, under the umbrella of 89ers, which takes some steps.
Yeah.
So there's a number of details to it. And, you know, it opens up the opportunity that the 89er celebration can in fact be a community-wide supported activity. Not that it isn't, but I mean, maybe the mayor can be, maybe all the civic organizations can be involved, and they are, but more so. And I think there could be some lemonade here. So I'm thinking that they'll be able to make it.
So Steve, would they inherit the fair?
As I understand it, the Legion will
Keeps it.
keep the fair.
Yes.
Okay.
But through it all, there's a lot of stuff. The other thing that they asked the Legion, and I think the last email I saw, was that unless something changes, the fair is gonna stay in town through Sunday.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they've asked, because it was such a success last year. So now they're working through getting the food trucks and the vendors to stay through Sunday. So it's actually gonna run through Sunday night.
Nice.
Yeah.
So just wanted to, sat through that meeting, and that's where they are at, so that if you start hearing stuff, they are working through it, but it is.
There will still be an 89er.
We're still at 89ers.
It is a
Oh,
part
yeah.
of our branding. We are 89er.
And Kaylin actually, I wish I would have brought it tonight, has done a really nice proposed theme and brochure for next year.
Yeah.
But she did it after the meeting, so they've got to bring up. Anybody else? Well, didn't quite make 7 o'clock, but I moved that we adjourn.